All right, so largely overlooked in all the coverage from the weekend is the serious piece of evidence that foreign powers were able to interfere with our democracy. And the detail that can no longer be ignored here is that it did happen during the Obama administration, and while Loretta Lynch ran the Justice Department and James Comey was leading the FBI. And of course, John Brennan at CIA. Let's not forget when the former director basically admitted that it was happening and that they did nothing to investigate or to stop it. Watch this.
What makes you believe that he has more indictments?
Because he hasn't addressed the issues related to criminal conspiracy as well as any individuals.
Criminal conspiracy involving the Russian influence?
Russians, yes, yeah. I think it was very,
and
in
that's
terms of
an area,
American person, U.S. persons.
That's an area you know something about. That investigation was developing while you were still on the job.
Well, it was, in terms of looking at what was going on with the Russians and whether or not U.S. persons were actively collaborating, colluding, cooperating, and involved in a conspiracy with them or not. But also if there's going to be any member of the Trump family. Did you see enough
at that stage to believe that there would now that would result in indictments once investigated?
I thought at the time that there was going to be individuals who were going to have issues with the Department of Justice.
So what did they do about it? What was their investigation? Where did that begin? Who did they talk to? What did Loretta Lynch think about it? What did Jim Comey think about it? Jesse, let me start with you.
Well, Barack Obama likes to say that he had a scandal-free administration. I think that's out the window now. It looks like he had the most corrupt administration since Richard Nixon. I don't know why the media isn't calling Barack Obama's office and asking him for a comment after this entire charade has been exposed. John Brennan, the CIA director, ran point on the whole thing. And they wanted Hillary in there. He wanted to keep his job as CIA director. And Obama wanted a third term. It was about legacy for him. I think at this point, as Lindsey Graham said, you need a second special counsel to bring up everybody and investigate Brennan and Clapper and Strzok and Comey and McCabe and all these people again. Samantha Powers with the unmasking. Yates, who set up the sting in the office of Mike Flynn. And at this point, it now looks like Papadopoulos, that allegedly started this whole thing, never even spoke to a Russian. He spoke to 2 CIA agents and an Obama ambassador who was a Clinton donor. So right now they need to declassify as much as they can. The 302s, the FISA applications, everything needs to get out there. The left said they want transparency on Barr. I want transparency on this investigation. Lastly, the president is always criticized for not believing the intel people. Well, the intel people under Barack Obama were all dead wrong. At worst, they were dead wrong. I mean, or they were trying to frame him. Which one was it?
You know, I heard Ari Fleischer, Dana, today say that he thought that this kind of investigation and the beginnings of it with Sally Yates, as Jesse just mentioned, would never happen without the knowledge of the president. Do you agree with that?
No, not necessarily. Not to disagree with Ari Fleischer, of course, because I don't know. And I do think that there are times when there's a bright line, and sometimes I don't know how present he was in all of this, meaning President Obama, right? Like, how much did he care? There's very few things that unite Silicon Valley Democrats and Trump administration supporters, but frustration with Barack Obama's administration on not bringing up and raising a red flag about Russian interference until I think it was September. They knew for a while it was happening. And then we hear that President Obama in that meeting with Putin in September of 2016 leans over and says, hey, knock it off. Like, we know what's happening. But America didn't know what's happening. Like, we know now. And one of the things that's amazing, to Jesse's point about scandal, 2016's election integrity was Barack Obama's responsibility. We heard in the Barr letter that we know the Russians were trying to do it. We know they're still trying to do it based on the Trump administration's intelligence community. And so the integrity of the 2020 election is President Trump's responsibility.
Absolutely. And boy, you know, if they wanted to sow discord and pit people against each other, they must be sitting back there going, what, awesome job, everybody.
Right.
We tied these people up in knots for 2 years. Let's see if we can do it again in 2020. I want to play this from John Brennan today, because we have shown how out there on this limb John Brennan was. So when asked to respond to everything today, here's what he said.
Well, I don't know if I received bad information, but I think I suspected that there was more than there actually was. And I am relieved that it's been determined that there was not a criminal conspiracy with the Russian government over our election.
You can only see him from here up, so I don't know if you can see the tail that might be between his legs, Juan. But, wow.
Well, you know, I just disagree with you guys, because I think that we have a record here and I think that Robert Mueller was able to confirm it, 100 meetings between Trump officials and Russians. We have 26 Russians indicted, 3 Russian companies.
But that is part of the.
Let me finish.
That's part of the discussion about the Russian hacking.
Right. So let me finish. At the time this was going on, Joe Biden has said this publicly. President Obama went to Mitch McConnell, the Republican leader in Washington, said, let's issue a bipartisan statement condemning this Russian interference. As you heard earlier, President Obama said directly to Vladimir Putin, stop this interference. We have a statement that came out from Jay Johnson and Jim Clapper, an official statement saying Russia is interfering in our election. All this was said at the time.
That's all stuff that we know.
That's right.
Stuff that we
so,
know.
in other words,
but they didn't stop it.
They couldn't. How are you going to stop it? You can make an effort.
Yeah,
you can try to get Republicans.
But
the Republicans, in the form of Mitch McConnell, said that would put some kind of onus on our candidate.
Mitch McConnell's not in charge of the intelligence apparatus, Juan.
Greg,
what's he going to do?
Yes.
Your thoughts?
I don't have very many thoughts at this point. I'm just still happy. You know, I'm just enjoying.
I want to ruin your buzz.
I'm enjoying. Yeah, I have a natural buzz from this vindication. I just think it's interesting that the people that pushed this story the most weren't us. Like, you know what? We always get it's the commentators and the opinionators that get the bad rap, that we're always just like, we're not dealing in facts. Actually, we're dealing in conversation. That's our job. But it were the experts and the analysts, the Brennans, the people that we put up on pedestals who had pushed this. Not us. Not us chuckleheads. We're just having a conversation. But everybody that's, the Carl Bernsteins of the world, the John Brennans, the investigative reporters that lied to us. Those are the people that caused this problem. Disgusts me, I'll tell you.
I mean, Brennan was the CIA director.
Yes, and they keep being interviewed.
And he suggests in the interview, I know these things because I know these things.
Exactly.
I have the inside track. And then this morning he comes out and says, it's possible that I got some bad information.
Yes, exactly.
So there we are. All right.
Joining us tonight, Harmeet Dillon, managing partner at the Dillon Law Group, RNC committeewoman for California. Harmeet, good to have you with us. And let's start with the president. Vindicated and standing there talking to the White House press corps. It seems to me a man who looks liberated.
Absolutely. Well, I'm happy that this cloud has been removed from him, but I'm angry as an American citizen and as a lawyer that he was put through this witch hunt and, on completely fabricated charges for the last 2.5 years, and the country was put through this. So I'm not celebrating just yet, Lou, and I won't until the people who organized this coup against the president are brought to justice.
Yeah. I am with you 100%. Although I will celebrate for this president for the Republic, because without this man in the White House, we would be in desperate, even existential trouble, I think, as a nation. Let's get to the issue of these charges. 2.5 years before, as the president noted, he's been under assault, spied upon by the Obama administration's spy chiefs, such as they are. Think about that little circle of clowns. Comey, Clapper, Brennan. They are such a disgrace to this country, and they are still baying at the moon for the left-wing media. What are we to do?
They're baying at the moon, but a lot of their co-conspirators are still there in place in the Department of Justice and in the FBI and in other departments in the intelligence services. There are judges who signed off on these warrants who were lied to, and the people who signed those warrants, I mean, Rod Rosenstein signed one of them, those people are still out there as well in our government. So I think we need to really hold people accountable. I think that Bob Barr would be well advised to do a top-to-bottom review and really clean house there in our House of Justice. And this is a bipartisan issue. I mean, I don't think any president of either party should be put through this type of a scandal and a witch hunt. So
I don't think so either, but
happens.
I don't think that we should kid ourselves. This Democratic Party has become something utterly, to me, unrecognizable. It is outside not only the mainstream, but it is moved to the left in such a way, and the figures who make up the Democratic Party, they're going to be bipartisan. Do you really think so? I understand your desire that it be so, but they have attacked relentlessly without concern for this president, his family, for the American people, or the nation. And I think that you're exactly right. There's got to be a reckoning, and there has to be soon. Do you think William Barr, the Attorney General, is of such a mind?
Well, I hope so. I'm sure that in the short time that he's been there, he's probably been surprised, as any good person would be, by what has been exposed here. And he has a good reputation, and he did the right thing. I mean, Lou, there would have been a school of thought to say, why don't you take months to ruminate over the report and then make your decision after that? He acted very swiftly in the interest of justice to remove that cloud. That was a great step by him, and that was really encouraging to me as somebody who's been somewhat cynical about what's going on inside the Beltway.
So where are we with Nadler, with Schiff? Is there any responsibility beyond the ballot box for these people? Because this is just an ugliness. I mean, Schumer and Pelosi, the ignorance of their leadership is breathtaking and so venomous. It's just ugly beyond belief.
Don't forget Eric Swalwell. I think that a lot of things have to happen here, and maybe the Democrats will be. I mean, I think actually Nancy Pelosi seems to have slightly distanced herself before this report came out and was brushing away the talk of impeachment. But she can't afford to do that now. The Democrats seem intent on clinging to this narrative, but I think it's actually going to backfire on them. The more they keep this in the public eye, the worse they're going to look. So I think they're making very bad political judgment to continue to highlight this failed effort by them. And so, you know, fine, go ahead and do that. But I think, however, Lou, the reckoning is really going to come for those elected leaders at the ballot box, and I hope their leaders do hold them accountable.
Well, and it seems very clear. Ronna McDaniel tonight here at the top of the broadcast, Harmeet. I'm so proud of her. I can't compliment her enough. She is standing with strength and purpose behind this president, and she means clearly to hold the Democrats accountable at the ballot box. And I know you, as a committee woman for the great state of California, mean to do the same.
Yes, she's doing a great job. Love to work with her.
And I think you're doing a great job as well. Thanks so much, Harmeet. We appreciate it.
Happy to be here.